something on your mind anytime. I'm here to listen. Sister Talk. When you need someone who understands, I know what you're missing. Sister Talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister Talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister Talk. Sister, 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 sister talk, sister.
What we have here today is sitting next to me is Mark McPhee. He's the outreach coordinator for the Coalition of Parole Restoration. And sitting next to Mark is Sheneese STARR from STARR Enterprise. Welcome to Sister Talk TV show, and we are going to jump right into it. You all are both of you all are community activists. Sheneese, I'm gonna start with you. Sheneese, you are clearly a womb walking warrior. I mean, you have so many labels that are attached to you. Not only do you walk that walk, you talk that talk also. You have so many labels, like I said, you're a mentor, you're a community writer, you're a designer, you're an event planner. Oh, event planner, we gotta talk, okay. But the one that sticks out for me is awareness-preneur. Explain that. I think that defines you. Who are you?
Well, that right there was given to me by my manager, actually, Latoya Parker. I remember a couple of years ago when she was working on, like, how do I brand you? How do I promote you? And I'm like, I'm not in a box, you know? Okay. I just bring awareness regarding any issue that I feel the community needs to be abreast on. So you have entrepreneur, you have the awareness-preneur. So whether it's about prison activism work, health, consciousness, awareness is the first step to change. So pretty much that's it.
So your motto is like your statement's always like, don't you know?
Well, it's really do you know?
Do you know?
But that's only pertaining to the prison walk that's coming up. But you know, I am what you are, what you seem, and so the true you is seen. If you want to give me an actual quote.
Right. Mark McPhee, you're outreach coordinator for the Coalition of Parole Restoration. Tell us about you and the organization that you work for.
Well, the Coalition for Parole Restoration is a nonprofit grassroots organization that was created to inform the masses of the dangers of the prison industrial complex, how it affects us as individuals, how it affects our families, and how it affects our communities, people in prison. Now, that mission is twofold: to assist those who are currently incarcerated to obtain parole release, and also to help them to make that transition back to the community once they are released.
So who started this organization?
Well, the organization was actually started with our founder, which is Claudette Spencer Nurse, and also Susan Wright started the organization.
And why did they start it?
Well, the reason why it was started was because of the fact that many prisoners were constantly being hit at the board, and meaning that they were denied release. Even after many years, we're talking about 20, 30 years of sitting in prison and coming before the parole board, but they were being denied. And so what happened was, back in 1996, and 1997, 1998, we noticed that there was a trend. Finally, in 1999, there was a meeting that was held, and we had lawyers that volunteered their time to listen to some of the stories and listen to some of the cases that were taking place. And about 300 people showed up at Riverside Church. I was one of those I was one of those members. And we gave our testimonies about our loved ones being hit at the board.
Wow.
And so CPR was born then.
You said your loved ones, you had somebody
Yes, I have family members that were incarcerated, friends that I grew up with that were incarcerated. And so the idea was that we need to do something about this. We need to take some type of action, and that we did.
Your activism, Sheneese, is also regarding incarcerated ex-convicts also. Why are you involved in that?
Well, it's not per se towards ex-people who are committed of crimes, because that's one thing we work on is not labeling people as far as convicts or felons. But my movement was birthed, it's actually called the In Your Face movement, and it's self-funded. Everything that I do basically is self-funded, and that started back in 2009 when a loved one of mine was hit at the parole board, and that's actually how I met Brother Mark. And it became very personal, you know, for me, you know, and actually, Mark took me by the hand, told me what I needed to do. He recommended things for me to actually do, and that's how it was birthed. And it became I became very passionate, and still am to this day. We do events pertaining to getting in your face, raising again the levels of awareness for people, because so many people are affected by the system, have people, loved ones in it, whether it's through their taxes, through people that they meet, through children being affected, but very few people are involved, you know.
Okay,
so,
we're going to talk about that some more, but first we're going to take this phone call. Caller, you're watching SISTAH Talk TV show. You're live. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is Gloria. How are you?
Gloria, can you turn your TV down?
Hold on. Say it again.
Can you turn the sound of your TV down?
Hold on.
Thank
I'm going to go
you.
where it's quieter. Hold on.
It's okay.
Hold on, please.
I love to hear myself talk too.
Excuse the noise in this place.
That's okay. I
Hello?
come from a large family also. Just tune them out.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your question and what you have to say?
Okay, my question is for Sheneese. Hi, Sissy. How are you? God bless. And the question is, like with me, I was incarcerated at one point, right? And so far, I've done real good for myself since then. However, I also was married to an incarcerated gentleman that wound up leaving me in the end. In Your Face movement, I have not, unfortunately, been as active as I should have been. My question to you is, how can I be just as active in it as well to deal with the pain that I'm going through still from the loss of mine?
peace, Gloria, and the first thing I would say is show up. That's one of the main things that me and Brother Mark talk about.
Thank you, Gloria.
Is showing up. You know, a lot of people are like, I over inundate people with information, with alerts, and it's about showing up. And that's the main thing with Brother Mark. He would give me the information. It was up to me to actually show up. You know, as a result of showing up, we had a lot of progress. So, Gloria, to answer your question, it would be when you get information, show up. That's the first step, is show up, and then we can share with you how to actually get involved.
Another thing I would tell our caller is that the Correctional Association has the Women in Prison meetings that are held monthly at the Correctional Association right on 125th Street. So please, I'll leave a number at the end of this program, and she
You can leave it now. You can say it now.
You can get in contact with me at area code 212-465-3241, and I will put you in contact with the Correctional Association Women in Prison Project.
Okay, we have one more call. Caller, you watch the SISTAH Talk TV show. What's your name? What do you have to say?
Good afternoon, Deetra. How you doing?
Hey, Raj, how you doing?
All right. I want to say hello to Sheneese and to my cousin Mark. It's cousin Rod, brother. How you doing?
Okay.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with family shouting you out. You know?
I just want to say I don't want to take up too much of Mark's time or your time, Deetra, but I just want to say that Mark has been doing this work for a number of years now, and the things that he has done, trying to get the brothers to get reaccustomed to outside life, and because a lot of these people don't have resources when they come out, and Mark is like family to a lot of these people, and the work that he's done is absolutely outstanding. And I want to say, I've known this brother since he was knee-high to a June bug, as they used to say.
Okay.
And he's really, I'm proud of him, and I'm sure all of his family members are proud of him as well. And I just want to say to him and to the next to him, keep up the good work, because people, once they come out, they need to stay out. They don't need to go back in.
All right. All right. Thank you, Raj. Thanks for the comment. Okay, we have one more phone call. Okay, caller, you watch the SISTAH Talk TV show. What's your name and what do you have to say? Hello? Okay.
Hello?
Hello, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, what's your name? What do you have to say?
Hi, my name is Tamika, and I want to shout out Sheneese, first and foremost, for her book, Perceptions. And it's definitely served as a motivating force, a re-motivating force for me. But my question for her would be, not too often you see people kind of roll up their sleeves and get involved in the community.
And I kind of just see her, I sit back and watch, and I see her very involved in her community service. It doesn't matter what time of the day, she's just involved in every aspect of things. And I just want to know where it is that she finds her strength and being able to do that when a lot of other people may use other people to do the legwork.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. That's a good question. Where do you all find your strength? You know, what keeps you going? Why do you all do this? Because when you talk about people who have been incarcerated, some people don't sympathize with them. They felt like, well, they did the crime, they have to do the time, and there are consequences. Why do you all keep doing that, despite what other people are saying out there?
Well, I would start off by saying that, like Dr. Martin Luther King, if I can shed light where there's darkness, if I can help someone along the way, then my life won't be lived in vain. And, you know, that's the reason why I do what I do. But I also want to give kudos to Sheneese, because Sheneese and LaToya Parker, these have been sisters who have went out on their own dime, and to make sure that you are aware of what's happening with those loved ones that are incarcerated. And so they were in the faces of the parole officers. They were in the faces of the community and saying, you know what? People have the right to change, and people do make that transformation over time. And so we need to change the way that we think about those individuals. Once again, perception. Perception is everything. And so we need to change the perception that people have about incarcerated people. And so that's why I continue to do the work that I do.
Well, to answer Tamika's question, where do I get my strength from? I would have to say from purpose. You know, once you accept a calling, forget anybody else, you have an obligation to yourself and your creator. So I get my strength from purpose. Why do I do what I do? Number one, I've accepted the calling. Number two is I'm no different. And as someone said, you know, if
You're no different.
I'm no different, meaning I don't think I know one person I can't say they haven't done something that could have landed them in prison.
Right.
I don't care if it was stole a Snickers bar from the corner store or cheating on your taxes or whatever the case may be. But regarding what you said as far as if they did the crime, they should do the time. Number one is most people incarcerated didn't do the crime. They were convicted of a crime, but they didn't do the crime. Secondly, the In Your Face movement, we don't talk about abolishing prisons. Like, we have remorse and compassion for victims. What we're saying is the system that's in place now is not serving its purpose for rehabilitating and transforming people. You know, so there's a difference in what we're talking about. You know, we're talking about, do you know what's going on? Do you know what loved ones are going through? Do you have any idea as far as whether it's, you know, older people being incarcerated, you know, or as far as what people go through when they go on a visit, you know? So it's not about saying right or wrong. The point is, are you aware? And don't place judgment, because unless your life is squeaky clean,
don't judge. Don't
just don't judge. You can assess, but don't
we
judge.
have another phone call. I have questions, but hey, we have another phone call. You watch a Sister Talk TV show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Donny Perez. I'm the Safe Reentry Advocate at the Mental Health Project, specifically with the Urban Justice Center. And I owe a huge part of my success to Mr. McPHEE and Ms. STARR. You know, I was released after doing 13 years, and then I attended one of their conferences in which I met some people that I managed to make some connections from, which eventually led to where I am today. But I guess my question is, so about a few days ago, the New York Advisory Committee to the United States Commission of Civil Rights held a hearing at the New York University School of Law concerning solitary confinement and its uses and its abuses. And one of the things that they wanted to know was, how can the system, does the system work, and how can it be changed? The correction of the, where is it?
Okay.
So the question, I guess the question will be, like, for example, Commissioner Annucci mentioned that, you know, that solitary confinement is a necessary tool, and that he wasn't really against putting juveniles inside of solitary confinement.
Okay.
So,
I'm sorry to cut you off, brother, but we're running out of time. We have to go to another segment.
But first of all, let me say about Mr. Donny Perez. Donny Perez is he's the shining example of success on parole. From the day that this young man was released, he's been up and running and doing positive things in the community. In fact, he's one of our honorees for this year's Recognize the Real, which is another program that Sheneese, STARR, and also like Toya Parker had started, recognizing the contributions of these men and women who have come out of prison and have made that successful transformation in the aftermath. And so I wanted to put that out there first of all. But I think legislatively there's a Safe Parole Act. And the Safe Parole Act basically states that these individuals who have been convicted of these crimes and have done everything humanly possible to be released from prison, that the state legislature change in terms of letting us know what exactly needs to be done in order for this person to obtain release.
I want to get back to you all. You know, it amazes me, and I'm just bewildered when I meet people like you all that go out and give it your all without money, without pretty much anything, just this passion to help other people. Where do you get it from besides God? I mean, when did that light bulb moment come on and said, this is what I have to do, I gotta do this? You're tossing and turning in bed and you roll over and you wake up and say, I gotta do this. Just tell me when that light bulb moment came.
But for me, it came from just paying attention. Like, my household was always a household that other people came to. Like, we always had the Broken Wing Association. People always came to our household for love, attention, even from relationships, you know. So it came to, in 2004, when I went on a journey of self-discovery with throwing away TVs, throwing away my bed. And like, I tell people, I started from the bottom, now we're here. That wasn't me. I took myself to the bottom, you know. So for me, it was paying attention, like, oh, well, why is this person coming into my life? Like, why is this happening? And connecting the dots, like, you're supposed to be here for others. Like, you don't have to go through an experience to help people. You know, as people say that, you know, like, you gotta go through it. Like, no, so I saw my girlfriends have babies at 14 or basically sell drugs, but I didn't per se have to go through it. So for me, it came from paying attention to life and at the same time, my self-discovery, like, what am I here for? Know love, be thyself, and just connecting the dots and not believing nothing just happens.
How about yourself, Mark?
Well, for me, it came in 1995, and I had a reputation that preceded myself in the Black Studies Department, and I found myself in a situation, and it was a black female officer, as well as another black female at Harlem Hospital who cared about my life.
Wow.
And I found out that there were people that were going through situations where they had nobody to stand up for them. And although she was a police officer, she said, you know what, brother, you're at Lehman College, right? She said, I heard about you. She said, look, you can't let this happen. Long story short, I was able to sue the city of New York.
Wow.
And although they admitted no wrongdoing, they paid that money. And I said to myself, you know what, I got to help somebody else. And so I started out working, trying to help the sisters at the Albion Correctional Facility and also at the Taconic Correctional Facility. And I became a voice for those sisters because it was the sisters who stood up for me. And so that's why I always give praises to the sisters, because sometimes the men don't stand up and they don't step up, but a sister will say what's on her mind. And so I appreciate the sisters, and I appreciate the ones that I've been able to help over the years and bring them home. And I felt that that was the least that I can do.
I know what you're missing, sister talk. No matter what you're going through, don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. Sister talk. If you ever feel alone, say the word, I'll be right there. Sister talk, sister, 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 ooh, sister talk.